Dad.
It's okay, bud. Go. It's okay. Go, go. Want to get some water? But at midnight, we're going to be doing our Essential 1 multivitamin, and that is a multivitamin unlike any multivitamin in the world. Comprehensive, high potency with the key ingredients like vitamin D and B12, our special protected B12. It's like getting separate formulas all rolled up into one small, easy to swallow capsule. Most people have learned to hate their multivitamins because they're hard to swallow or upset their stomach or don't contain the ingredients they need. This is a product that you will fall in love with, and the reviews, and we'll talk about this at midnight, the reviews are virtually perfect. I think it's, again, a 4.6 or 4.7 star product with a few thousand 5-star reviews, a few thousand 5-star reviews.
Absolutely. Well, we were just alluding to how Andrew has been making the world's finest vitamins for going on 4 decades now, which is amazing when you think about it. And this is actually one of your firsts.
And this is one of the original products.
Yeah.
Our multivitamin was an original product. Our glucosamine and chondroitin was an original product. I'm not sure if there are many other companies in the world that back in 1979 when I started had a glucosamine and chondroitin product, talked about things like glycosaminoglycans, mucopolysaccharides. And I used to, back in that day, I used to do seminars. I would do seminars about nutritional supplements for doctors. And I talked about glycosaminoglycans and mucopolysaccharides and glucosamine and chondroitin and talked about the research, the science, the clinical studies. And since that time, the research has only continued to roll in. And basically, glucosamine and chondroitin, they're not drugs, they're not medicines, they're not designed to cure or treat or prevent arthritis or whatever joint issues we might have. What they are structural components and building blocks for those tissues, which our mere existence challenges our joints. You know, we're all getting older. I'm getting older, and I like to exercise every single day. And Shannon and I were talking earlier today about, we have our little activity monitors and talk about how many steps we take. And we're blessed to be able to do that because that's very challenging on our joints. But I recognize that being active, sitting and laying around, unfortunately not healthy. Being active is very healthy. Standing, walking, very, very healthy. We can only do that as we get older to the extent our joints permit us. We all have our own unique issues and problems, genetics, whatever we might have experienced in our life. But whatever that set stage is, whatever they say, whatever cards we were dealt, we still should do the very best we can with them. So if our joints already have issues and have already been informing us of those issues, then it's up to us to continue to nourish them, whether they're perfectly healthy or whether they're challenged. And that's what glucosamine and chondroitin are all about. And again, just so you could feel secure about the ingredient, all my products, small, soft, easy to swallow capsules, ultra fine powders, you can be confident that it will be easy to swallow and it won't upset your stomach. So it delivers the glucosamine and chondroitin in the proper form. Most glucosamine that you see now in supermarkets, pharmacies, discount stores is not the proper form to get the benefit. It's glucosamine hydrochloride. What you want is glucosamine sulfate. You have to read the fine print on the back of the label, very important. Also, most chondroitin sulfate out in the world is the sodium salt. If you're watching sodium in your diet, you need to watch sodium in your supplements. Our chondroitin is the calcium salt. So you get a little bit of extra bonus calcium with this product. You don't get sodium that might undermine your heart health or your blood pressure. It truly is unlike any other glucosamine chondroitin product on the market. Also, and speaking before that, when I introduced my first glucosamine chondroitin product back in 1979, and back then we called it Muscle Flex. Interestingly enough, Muscle Flex spelled M-U-S-S-E-L, because part of what we put in that were the glycosaminoglycans present in New Zealand green-lipped mussels. New Zealand green-lipped oysters. So it was fascinating, but that was the name of the product back in 1979. But as you see here on this chart, more than 19,500 papers have been published on glucosamine. More than 17,000 papers have been published on chondroitin. So it's not something that isn't heavily discussed and researched. More than 1,200 papers have been published on both used together. There was just a great study showing the benefits of chondroitin published just about 6 weeks ago. Really great study. Combined, more than 2,600 clinical trials, meta-analyses, and systematic reviews have also been published. So if you're like me, or anyone, I think we would all like to be as active as we can. We all know that being active is healthy and beneficial, but oftentimes, especially as we get older, and I'm not as young as I used to be. I mean, you could probably start figuring out the math if this is the 37th year that I've been making vitamins that I'm not as young as I used to be. But I still do all the same things I used to do, whether it's running or mountain biking. I'm active. Might not be quite as fast as I used to be running, but I still do all those things, and I recognize the only way I'm going to be able to continue to do that is if I care for myself. And one of the best things we can do, of course, for our joints is to be as close as possible to our optimum weight, because that extra weight challenges our joints are structures, and the engineering of our body, that means there's more weight bearing on those weight bearing surfaces. That challenges our joints. So glucosamine, chondroitin are the natural building blocks, Mother Nature's tool to maintain our joints as we get older.
Absolutely. It's definitely a feel the difference product for sure. Not all glucosamine is created alike. And read some of those reviews. Here's another one, 4.6 star average rating with over almost 1,119 reviews. Of that, almost 1,000 are perfect 5 stars.
Yeah. I don't, when you look at glucosamine, chondroitin, I don't think you'll find as well reviewed a product out there. And again, reviews on a product like this, people are experiencing the benefits of these wonderfully important natural molecules. That these are, again, not a drug, not a medicine. It's not treating arthritis or things like that. I have a friend of mine who's a doctor who says, the minute we open our eyes, we start working on cataracts. The minute we start moving around, we start working on osteoarthritis. That basically, from the moment we're born, we start challenging tissues in our body. It's just common sense to give our body the tools to deal with those challenges. Certainly, we'll have ample opportunity to take drugs and medicines over the course of our lifetime, and of course we should work closely with our doctors. But just because we're taking drugs or medicines doesn't mean that we should totally ignore or forget the natural tools that are also available to us as well.
Absolutely. And again, not all glucosamine is created alike, guys. If you've
Not at all.
Not even close. So if you've tried somebody else's glucosamine, you really need to try the finest. Of course, pick your size of choice, the 60, the 120, the 240, or the 480. Holy cow,
And great
huge
savings. Great
savings on that.
And this was
Big.
a special that we did. We just did it in January, but because we pushed the remote into February, we kept, I forgot to mention this, we kept the special savings on glucosamine, chondroitin from January. We kept it available for this visit as well.
Okay, that's huge. So we've got a lot to get to. Of course, we're
Great.
just a few minutes away from our brand new Today's Special. We're moving along to a product that